So I just want to do a video real quick and explain why I believe it is going to be extremely tough to convince me, at least, that the consumer is strong, will remain strong, and get stronger. I think the consumer is in a lot of trouble. Just looking at the things that I'm looking at, things could get really, really, really bad for the average. I mean, even people that are wealthy. So UK inflation came out over 10% today. What's important to note from this article is this piece where it says the numbers, CPI numbers, put extra pressure on the Bank of England to raise interest rates more aggressively despite clear signs that the economy is heading into a recession. What you got to understand is that most recessions in the past, if not all of them, have been resolved by the Fed or say the central bank uh, lowering interest rates. So that's what they've traditionally done. But you can't do that if inflation is so high, unless they just keep playing political games, making it seem like inflation isn't as bad as it is. That last piece only matters for the markets. I'll get back to that in a second. In real life, I say CPI is just a scam because they control the allocations and weightings. But if you go outside and you start buying stuff, just an abundance of things, your necessities, you're not paying an average 8.5%. You're not paying nowhere near that. And I get it. It's not going to be spot on, but we're talking about being in the high teens, more realistically speaking. You look at these necessities that people have to buy, none of them are, two of these are near 8.5%. And I don't even include new cars because who really cares about new cars? Food is up 13%. And you're trying to tell me I'm supposed to believe that I walk out and my average inflation that I'm seeing is 8.5%? And we haven't even talked about housing. Housing is, you see rent prices, they just went parabolic. Like the mess is insane. So when you also look at something like, we talked about this yesterday briefly, natural gas is at like 14-year highs. You look at this on a chart and it's showing clear signs of a breakout. You get over, say, 33 for continuation higher, you could push into this 37, 38, 39, 40 supply range. That type of move high, people, why does this matter? Um, because just having experience in the power industry, I've kind of seen or learned about the transition to natural gas because natural gas has been cheap and it is the cleanest of the um, fossil fuels. So natural gas accounts for 38% in 2021. It accounted for 38% of electricity generation in the United States. So the question you have to ask yourself, how does that make the United States any different from Germany? These are electricity prices in Germany. Granted, this is not an apples to apples comparison because things are way worse over there. And I don't think, I really hope we don't get that bad. This is insane. But we are probably going to experience some type of parabolic increase like this. So yeah, you can make up all these games and say the market's going to go higher for this and that reason, and it can all be a fluff of lies. I don't really care. This video is focusing more on what's going to happen in real life. When you talk about somebody who's paying, let's say, we're talking like a 5X rate here, right? What if your bill went from $100 to $500? How would you feel? As somebody with our business, our bill was typically in the 250 range, and lately it's been over 400. And what I'm sitting here telling you is, put that in perspective, and now it's about to get worse. That can't be good for anybody in real life. That can't be good for the average citizen. That can't be good for anybody. Nobody wants to be paying that much more for electricity. We're not talking about for games or eating out. We're talking about for electricity. So how does that translate into the market? I won't dive into that in this video, but it is something to definitely be aware of if you're watching this video for purposes of trying to trade or invest. Um, Keep that in mind, definitely. But this is more so focused on where I believe the economy is headed and how I think consumers are going to be impacted. And I think it could get pretty brutal. But there you go. And I hope you would take heed.